This is the dashboard of my 2013 Nissan Leaf. I drive about 28 miles to work each way.
It allows you to check your energy economy when your travel data is uploaded.
And you see, yesterday I had trip A set. I actually went 77.8 miles.
The highest number.
And when I got home last night, I had 12 miles left. Normally I travel about 58 miles a day, and I have about 20 miles left, but the first few days I would start the car and it would say I had like 95 to 98 miles. On the one-way trip to work, it would drop like 40 miles. Yesterday I noticed it only said I had 75 miles starting out, and then it was not dropping nearly as fast. So the gasometer seems to adjust itself as you drive. So I'm going to start out the work, and there's my miles. I have 345 miles. I'm going to go ahead and set the B trip odometer so I can see my progress for today. And it says I have all the bars are fueled up, and the gasometer today says I have 86 miles. So it is not one-to-one. If you're driving around town, you might get a few miles per mile. Or you might even gain miles if you have it in B mode and regenerative. So it's not one for one. On the highway, going about 65 miles. Yesterday I was getting about 0.9 miles for every mile, and that was about 60 miles an hour. When you drive 75 miles an hour, you might get a half mile per mile. But then, like I said, once you get into town, it starts regenerating. So this basically, it really is a gasometer. So I haven't had any problems yet, and yesterday, like I said, I drove over 77 miles. So let's start out. I'm driving about 35 miles an hour, and note that I have the B mode on and the econo mode on. My drive is it starts out at 20, then goes to 35, then quickly goes to 75 for about 10 miles, then goes down to 60, then 55, and then I have about another several miles of in-town driving. So I'm still heading to the freeway. I've got about 6 miles just to get there. Take a look at the screen now. I've switched the, zoom in a little bit. I've turned on the energy economy indicator. Now, I believe the battery's 24 kilowatts, and I'm averaging 3.8 miles on a kilowatt. So you can do the math, basically. That might be better than the gasometer. There's also a spreadsheet you can download that someone has made to help out with this. I don't know if it's for the 2013 or not, but I think it's pretty similar. On that long stretch, I'm going about 60 miles an hour. I'm starting on my long stretch that goes faster and faster up to 75 miles an hour, and then I go for about 9 or 10 miles, and then it goes back down to 60, and that probably lasts for another 5 miles, and then I go into town where I actually pick up. Now I went 6 miles, and it says I still have 85 miles left. So you see how I was getting more than a mile for a mile on the way here. So now it will drop at a huge rate. So I've learned not to be concerned, because on the way home it doesn't drop as fast. I don't know if it gets more accurate, or if it maybe the elevation difference or the wind. For some reason I use way less miles on the way home. I personally believe the gasometer just gets more accurate. So I'm going to wait till it drops one more, and I'm going to tell you how many tenths of a mile I got for that one. Okay, hold on. I'm going 74 miles an hour. The speed limit's 75 here. I'm new to the 75. It just happened here, so I actually don't like driving 75. I drive about 72, but so I can, give the car a good test here. We'll see how it goes. I have 80 miles, and it's just a straight shot. I think that's why they did that. Okay, so at 7.8 miles, it switched to 79. So let's see how many tenths of a mile I get per mile. I'm a little uphill right now, so this probably won't be a good test. So 78. I think what did I say it was? 7.9. Okay. Okay, so it went from 7.9 to 8.4 in a mile. So that's not real good, but like I said, on the way home it's not near as bad. I'll do it again. I'll wait till the next one comes. .76 at 8.9. So let's see how far we go. I'm on a curve, so I've slowed down a little bit. Speed back up. Anyway, I can't do the math while I'm driving, but I'll just leave this on. You can take a look at it yourself. Now I'm going 74 miles an hour. Just leaning my hand against the steering wheel, so hopefully the picture's not too bad. I'm going 75 right now. I'm speeding. Let me slow down. The thing is, the car is so quiet. You often catch I catch myself going a little over the speed limit because you just don't sense the speed as well. Now I just got this car last week, so I'm sure I'll get used to that. See, I'm still going 74. I was going 77 for a minute, or 76. So at 70, at 10.7 miles, it switched to 70. So 10.7. Again, I'm on a slight incline. On the way to work, I looked it up. It's 30 miles higher than where I start out from. So that could account for a slight bit of the difference on the way there from the way back. Okay, so I think I went to 11.3 on a mile. So you can do the math, subtract them. I'm still going 74. I have another route I can take to work. It's about 2 miles shorter, and I actually net, when I get to work, I have 10 additional miles versus going this route. But this route is just a little faster because of the higher speeds, and you can't see it now, but I have a nice view of the ocean on this route. So this is the preferred route for me. Now I'm going uphill again, so it's a lot of going uphill here. Well, hills for Texas. It's probably not a hill. I sense the car is climbing. You can sense it. I'm still going 74. I'm down to 65. Like I said, for the last several miles, once I get into town, I'll only use a couple miles, and I've actually seen the indicator jump back up. So I think when things settle sometimes. And like I said, yesterday I went 77 miles, and it showed I still had 12 miles, but I know from experience if I stay in town 35 miles an hour, I could go to Walmart back and forth a few times, and that's like 7 miles away. So going 73. I sense a slight climb still, so lots of little, I'll try to do this on the way home if I remember too, so you can see that I get better mileage on the way home for some reason. Yeah, now I'm going up. You see my average is only 3.7 now, and that's a big deal. Okay, now I sense a slight downhill, thankfully, yeah. So with this car, we get a 7,500 tax credit, not a deduction. Many counties in our state give an additional $3,500 rebate. Our county doesn't participate in that as of yet. So another thing I've noticed with this car, our local Nissan station has 4 chargers. This car blows all of them. I think the charger can deliver 6.6, but I think the breaker or the wiring are what's the weak link. They need to upgrade. I think this is the first year that the Leaf has. I'm supposed to go down to 65 miles an hour now. See, I'm dropping 65 to 65. Okay. So now I'm going 65. So my trek at 75 miles is over, and they've got a lot of not that I'm a speeder, but there's a lot of patrols here, and you really can't even tell they're police officers because they have they don't say police, they have like some type of laser etching that says police on the car, so they're sort of hidden. But like I said, I'm not real comfortable driving super fast anyway. Okay, I'm going 65, 66, I'm averaging 65, 66. People are still flying by me, so I assume they'd be targeted. I'm going 67. There's the Port of Brownsville, or part of it. It's very nice. I'm going 67. I went 16 miles, and I started out with, I can't even remember now, 85, so you see it's not 1-to-1. As I get in town, I'll get a much better ratio. And on the way home, for some reason, the same exact stretch does not take as many miles. It's very interesting. I guess with the battery, it's not just how many physical miles you drive, it's all based on estimates. I'm going 68. Let me slow down a little bit. There. Let me go to the speed limit. Like I said, you tend to speed up not realizing it because I'm going too slow. Now there's a red light up ahead, so when I get close to the red light, I'm just going to take my foot off, and you see, look at the power pellets up there. When they're to the left, you're actually charging the car. It's called the B mode. And amazingly, it does an amazing job. Just around town for a little bit, I've seen it increase by 3 or 4 miles. So they've done a real good job at engineering the B mode. That's my opinion. On the long stretch, of course, I don't use the B mode. On the alternate route that I told you about, that's a little shorter, but it takes longer, and I do get several more miles out of it. I use B mode a great deal. And I was thinking B mode over the years should really save on the brakes, because often you just don't need them. B mode really slows the car down. Now, so you don't get the jerky feeling, when I let off the gas, I do it slowly. Here, we slow down. I was going way too fast again. We slowed back down to 64. I was up to like 68. Going 65. So the car's basically silent. I hear some road noise. There's nothing that I can detect from the car. Okay, now speed limit just changed to 60 as I let off the gas. You see how I had some B mode power for a while. Anyway, the car's a lot of fun. It's very, very nice. I think the base model starts at like 29. This is a mid model with lots of options, so even though we got a good deal, it wasn't 29. But if you take the $7,500 tax credit, and if your county offers additional, plus the gas, I drive a lot, so consistently a lot. I drive about 28 miles each way to work, so 56 miles a day just on the commute. I was spending a lot on gas. I actually traded in a Prius, a baby Prius. It was the C model, and since I don't drive a lot around town, I was getting fabulous gas mileage, about 44 on the average on this trip, but it wasn't, if I, around town with the Prius C, you can get up to 70, 80, easily, very easily, but I just don't do that type of drive. Ooh, I'm going 70, let me slow down. I'm not sure, I think the speed limit might be 65 right here, but let me slow down. I tend to have a lead foot, not intentionally, but now I noticed with B mode, the gas pedal's it's just harder to press. So some of it might be you're not going as fast. I have to slow down again. Hold on. I'm just not pressing it as fast. So I got 51 miles left and I've went 20 miles. You see that ratio is not good. It really depends on your drive. A lot of this I really sense was I'm going uphill right now, so yeah, I'm going 67. Okay, speed limit's 55. Let me get some V mode power going on here. I'm recharging. You see that? See the dot with the circle? That's like the neutral. Now, if you're to the right of it, you're using power. It's sort of like a game. I think it's fun, like power pellets. Okay, I'm going 56. Let me slow down a little bit. Try to be a law-abiding citizen. It's really hard. Okay, 55 is the speed limit still. Like I said earlier, when the first couple days of owning the car, I'd get in and it said I had like 95 miles available. I'd get to work and it would say 52. I'm like, what happened there? But now it's not quite as severe. I think yesterday I started out with 75 and I went over 77 miles and I had 12 miles left. So when I got in the car, it said I had 75 miles because the gasometer did a massive calculation shift. So I drove 77 because I got lost. And then I still got home with 12 miles. So I was a little concerned, but it seems like the more miles you use, the more miles it gives you, or it just ticks them off a lot slower. It's really interesting. So I had to stop. So the goal is, if you can stop without using the brakes, you get more miles. I haven't really perfected that yet. Like right now, I just used the brakes. I probably shouldn't have. There's no one behind me. I had no need to. I could have just let off the gas and let it slow down on its own. So I think I had 50 a minute ago. I'm back up to 52. I don't know if it regenerated or it just settles. I still have a good average, 3.7. That's pretty good. Now I saw on another video you're supposed to be a Zen driver. You're supposed to start real smooth. I guess pretend you have a glass of water on your dash. Don't really do that, of course. Now this is going to be sort of stop and go a little bit. I have to apply the brakes. I had no choice there. I'm only going 19 miles an hour. Going 41. Speed limit here is actually 55, but due to congestion, it just, unless you really leave early, you're not going to see that. 50. On the way home, I'm not going to hold my camera up to the dash. I have my hand leaning on the steering wheel, so it's not hard. But I'll just show you the beginning and the end. And I didn't have it on at the beginning, so the first like 6 miles till I got to the freeway, I was about anywhere from 25 for the school zone to 35. So my drive really runs the gamut. I think what really kills my miles is that I think it's like 9 mile stretch of 75 miles an hour. I've been driving for a while. I'm still at 52. So you see, when I'm in town, I do get way more than one physical mile per mile on the gasometer. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'll start up when I get to work, so I'll show you the end result. The rest is like anywhere from, I'll probably go anywhere from 20 to 40, 45 on the way to work. Okay. Quick while I'm stopped at a light. The car is very, very beautiful. Okay, I had the little Prius C earlier. It was my previous car. And this car is far, far more substantial. So I'll show you that. I've been driving for a little while longer. I still have 52. So I'll pause again so I can drive the rest of the way to work. At another stoplight. I'm still at 52 and I drove a couple more miles. I'm going to hit pause. I've got about another mile to go. So we'll see how it goes. Finally got to work. I still have 52 miles. So I went 27.5 miles. I started, I think it was 85 miles, and I ended with 52. So that's like 33 miles. You'd have to do the math. But, so it's a lot better than when I first bought the car. On the same trip, it was dropping like 45 miles, which was insane. But it started out with an insane number. So basically, the gasometer is truly a gasometer. And this is just an example of how it functions. It's going to change for everybody. So you can't look at my miles and say, it all depends on your drive. Now, look at the little dash. They have a little tree indicator. I grew one tree and I almost had a second tree. So basically that's it, and I'll show you on my way home. From what I gather, from what I've read and from my experience, the AC does drop your miles. I had AC all the way here, and I had about 9-10 miles at 75 miles an hour, and then it really varied greatly after that. And as you see, once I got in town, I went for several miles, or at least about 5 miles, with no additional drops in the gasometer. And it seems like accessories such as my phone charger and the radio and the display, that runs off an accessory battery. I can turn those on and off and my gasometer doesn't drop at all. If I turn on climate control, it will drop. Let me show you. It says I have 52. If I turn it off, I got 54. Turn it back on. So that uses the main battery. So it seems like only as far as the cabin goes, only the air conditioning uses the main battery. So it will drop your range, but just like about 2. So I love the car so far. This is a little hard to get used to, but I'm in park now. Reverse, you just go like that. Now I'm in reverse. Put it back in park, push the button. This is regular drive. To go into B mode, which really adds a huge amount of regeneration as you stop and go, you just do it again. So basically you do the drive motion twice. So that's park. That's B mode. It'd be sort of cool. This is all just for looks anyway, I think, if they just had buttons. Anyway, that's it. I'm still at 52. You're just sitting here using the AC. So Alright, I'll show you on the way home real quick. I'll just show you the start and ending on the way home. Thank you. Okay, I'm back for lunch. I'm going out to lunch. It'll probably be just a few miles. You see, I gained a mile since the car was off. But again, like I said, it's a gasometer. So I'll check back after lunch and then before I leave for today. Okay, I'm back from my lunchtime excursion. So I've added about maybe 6 miles and I've only lost 2 miles. So I'll see you after 5. Okay, it's the end of the day, 5:42. I'm going to head home the same route. I have 50 miles left. That's after driving to work and going out to lunch. So here we go. Red light, I've driven a little over 5 miles, I believe, and I'm still at 49. So this is the 5 miles was an up and down traffic stop and go. After one more light here, I'm going to start my high-speed travel, ranging about from 60 to 75 miles an hour. So we'll see how it goes. I'll go ahead and pause it and show you later. Traffic is starting. I'm up to 51. I have 48 miles left. So it says. Like I said earlier, around town you could get anywhere from 2 to 5 miles for 1 mile. On the highway you could get anywhere from a half to 0.9 miles for 1 mile. Getting up to 65. I'll go ahead and pause. I'm about in the middle of my 75-mile haul. I'm down to 27 miles. I'm going 74 miles an hour. Okay, I'm still going 74 miles an hour. I have cruise control. I have 20 miles left. It's been a while, so I'm still going. And I really feel the wind dragging the car, so it's having to work pretty hard. Okay, I'm having to pull out of 75. Just went down to 65. I have 16 miles left. Now I'm down to 55, so I gotta slow down a little bit. 16 miles left. Right up here, I'm going to pull over and stop at the store. See, little pit stop. It's really on the way though, so I don't really expect it to change anything at all. Now I continue to slow down. We're down to 45 miles an hour. There we go. Now on the way home, it's up and down. I might actually get a few miles back. So at 16 miles, oh, see, I'm already back up to 17. I would actually expect that almost to go 3 times as far if I was just driving around town, and maybe go that or about that on the highway or a little less. Okay, I'm going to pull in here to the... I'm out of the grocery store. I have 18 miles left, so it says, and I went 54 miles, and I've got about 5 miles to get home. So here we go. I'm on my last leg home. Speeds go anywhere from 55 to 20. So I've got about 6 miles left to go. Down to 17. Oh, I'm speeding. Better slow down a little bit. Speed limit is just dropped from 55 to 45. So you'll see as I let off the gas, some of that energy goes back into the battery. I'll go ahead and pause it and you'll see when I'm supposed to go down to 35 now. Okay. I'm going to pause it, we'll see how it goes when I get home. Okay, I'm still on the way home. I'm allowed to speed up to 45 miles now. It goes from 45 to 55, just for like a couple miles. I don't really know the purpose, actually. So I'm going to speed up to 55. I still have 18, so as you see, when you're driving at the lower speeds, you can go for a few miles on 1 mile, or sometimes, like I said, you even gain miles depending on how much braking. And basically, the more even you drive, the less energy you use. I better slow down. I'm speeding. 55. There we go. Still at 18. Pretty good. In a minute I'm going to turn, and then I'll be smooth sailing all the way home. It's only 35 to 20 miles. I'll actually probably pick up a mile or two. So as you see, the gasometer, my personal opinion is, the tag on the window of the car said about 75 miles. My personal opinion is it's based on half highway miles and half around town miles. So, and yesterday, like I'll show you again on the trip meter, I think I got 77 miles, and when I got home I still had 14 left. And that was actually a great deal of highway miles, because I actually went the wrong way on the freeway. Okay, we're 155. Got 17 left. I'm going to start easing off the brake. I'm sorry, ease off the gas, so I can take this corner, and you see I'm charging again. I think the B mode is awesome. I know I had the baby Prius, and it also had regenerative, but I really feel it more in this car. I'm back up to 18 miles. So it's almost like around town. But at lower speeds, you sort of, it really recharges itself really, really good. So I probably went about 4 miles already, and I'm still at the same mileage, 18. Oh, I'm speeding. It's supposed to be 35 here. Here we go, 34. I'll put on cruise control. There we go. Cruise control at 35. That way I don't get out of control. There we go. Still at 18. It's doing really good. Still at 18. And like I said, I think realistically around town, I would probably get 30 or more miles off that 18 number. I think all the numbers are based on if you were going to split it between the highway and regular roads. Still at 18. I've got a pretty good average kilowatts a mile also at 3.7. I've done better, but I tried to drive the speed limit today for my little test here for my video. Normally I drive a couple miles under the speed limit, but I wanted to really put it through its paces so you get a good idea of what the car can do. You see I'm up to 19 now, so I've drove about 5 or 6 miles and I've actually gained a mile. So that, to me, that's pretty amazing. Now I have to go 20 here, so yeah, I've actually gained a mile since I got off the freeway and went to the store, I believe. Ew, I'm going over 20. There we go. Back to 18. Okay, I'm still at 19. Still at 19. My average is up to 3.8. And I have to be honest, I'm not real good with using the B mode. I keep putting on the brakes instead of just letting off the gas because the car's really new to me. I'll get better at that. Still at 19. I went 60 miles and it says I have 19 miles. So even if I only got the gasometer balance left, even if that were true, I would get 80 miles on this car. But like I said, I know from experience around town I would get probably 3 times that, and on the highway I would get less. So that's a good idea. Man, it's a good idea of how the car runs. It's a beautiful car, extremely sturdy, way sturdier than the Prius C that I had. It just feels like 5 times more substantial. There we go. And that's it. I'll insert a little picture here of the sticker on my car where it says average of 75. Here's the sticker off my car. It says about 75 miles. So basically the car does perform as advertised and more so.